have Mr. David Angway. Yes.
Yes, Mr. David Angway is a registered financial planner and a contributing writer of Money Sense magazine.
The founder and chief executive officer of Win Long-Term Financial Consultancy, columnist in the Business Mirror, resource consultant at ANC on the Money, and the list goes on and on. Everyone, please welcome Mr. David Angway.
Morning, David.
Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you guys, and good morning to everyone who's currently watching us right now. And really appreciate you inviting me
Yes,
in your
thank
very
you
pilot
for
episode.
yes, thank
Yes.
you for joining our pilot episode.
Okay.
Okay. Now we go directly to our topic. We've prepared a topic that is specifically for the millennials.
All right.
For our generation.
Okay.
Our generation.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Yourself
right.
included.
Yes.
I
Okay,
agree
the
with that.
topic that we've prepared is on how do we differentiate or how do we see the difference of the management styles of the Generation X or the baby boomers or our parents now as compared to us millennials?
Well, that's a very good question.
Or are there difference? Are there any?
Well, there's a big difference because first of all, millennials now tend to have a bigger spending power compared to our parents who just earn from, if you're going to compare the amount of money that they first earned compared to us, it's quite different. There's a big gap on that.
Spending power.
And once we have a spending power, there's more SM, there's more, there's more
A lot.
super malls
Yes.
compared to
And
right
online
now.
shopping,
Yes, that's right.
sales, travel.
So the way how we spend our money as a millennial, as our generation, tend to be misplaced sometimes. Okay, but I'm not generalizing it. But to be honest, there are very few millennials who are conscious when it comes to their spending, have a really good management goals when it comes to their finances.
But majority
But
don't.
majority don't have. You know why? I'll give you a little bit of statistics. Only 1% of millennials, or probably overall population in the Philippines, are into the stock market. Most are the foreign investors and all. So what's happening compared to Singapore? 33% of their populations are currently in stock.
including the young ones.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's a big gap between we lack financial literacy so far. Our curriculum in our school system doesn't have that so much. It doesn't give so much emphasis into it. So I believe that we as a millennial compared to the other generations were more well informed because of the social media and the previous experiences that our parents had. So
We are more informed, but we spend more as well.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because
So how do we avoid that?
yeah. Well, how do we avoid that? We need to be conscious first. We need to understand first what kind of spender are we? What kind of what behavior do we have in the first place? Because these malls that we have here in Metro Manila or in the
Around us.
provinces are designed to lure us when it comes to spending.
Take note, they are designed to lure us to spending.
Yes, that's right. Because
That's scary, okay.
the marketing says that if you don't have the brand new laptop, which is an iPhone or an Apple,
Peer
made,
pressure.
definitely you're not
That's sad.
in. Yes, that's right. But
You're
again, to be
undated.
honest, let me tell you, all those frugal people are millionaires. I haven't seen anyone or interviewed anyone who's a millionaire and he's a spender as well.
So if you know someone who's frugal, he's definitely a millionaire
Yes,
or
yes,
will
yes.
be one.
Yes, that's right. If you're frugal, you're thrifty, you're not cheap.
So that's the
Okay.
first lesson.
Yes, that's right. Because you know exactly your value. Why should I go ahead and spend a lot of items if I know exactly my value?
Correct.
So if I go ahead and spend so much of these things just to fill me in, okay, just to add value to me, I'm insecure.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's an interesting one.
so that's-
It's all about self-worth as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that's a behavioral finance incorporated directly in the money management. If I go ahead and spend, because we are emotional being, we're definitely, every time that we spend, there's an emotion attached to it. If you're hungry, that's an emotion.
Yes.
If you're really fearful or you're frightening, you go ahead and get out all your investments from these assets because you're losing your money, because that's purely an emotion. But we made a decision through spending we buy through our emotion and we justify it logically.
Yes.
So something like that.
Like, I
right?
need this now.
Yes.
I want this. This is why I need it, because
Yes.
I want it.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's the
that's right.
justification.
That's the reason why we are encouraging, or I am advocating for you to think long term.
Okay.
Okay.
So we acknowledge that there's a lot of these temptations
Yes, that's correct.
luring us to spending too much, and we need to avoid such.
That's
we need
correct.
to avoid them. So how do you, or what advice can you give us, the millennials, the X generation, or where do we invest our money instead, our savings instead? For example, for me, I'm a working student.
Yep.
Or just started working, or kahit mga college graduates, gusto nilang mag-invest out of their allowance in savings. Where and how?
I'm encouraging you guys to increase your financial IQ first. I'm not asking you to simply go ahead and pick the right stocks for
Increase
you.
financial IQ.
Yes, exactly. You know why? Because without financial IQ, you're not gonna go ahead and, well, you won't be able to last. When it comes to investing. Why? Because when it comes to investing, you need at least five aspects. Why? You need time.
Okay.
You need to have money in the first place.
Yes.
All right.
You need to save.
You need to at least have a habits. You need to sustain it. And then the next thing is like the community that will support you. Because if you are surrounded with spenders, how can you invest more?
Correct.
Especially if
We're susceptible.
yes,
we're
right.
easy to
Yes, right.
influence,
So
yeah.
time, money, knowledge, and at the same time community, and then habits. If you miss one of those pillars, then you might end up not being able to invest in a really good
Okay,
way.
but David, what if I'm really not entrepreneurial?
Okay. If you're not entrepreneurial, you at least think like an entrepreneur. You know what? Being an entrepreneur means you make things happen. Being an employee, you wait things to happen. So there's a big shift on that area. That's the main reason why, if you want to earn more money, what I would advise to our millennials who's currently watching us right now on Facebook, increase your credibility.
Increase credibility.
Be trustworthy, because more people will be attracted to you if you're gonna be like that. If you're trustworthy, and then you would like to sell yourself.
And for example, if you think of availing loans in the future?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's a friend of mine who's currently who owns a micro-lending company called Leverage.ph, and he mentioned to me that if you just graduated, you get to have a credit card ASAP. You know what? That's counterintuitive. But to be honest, sooner or later we're gonna be having a credit score.
Yes.
We don't
Yeah.
have yet a credit score
Yeah,
here in the
because we
Philippines.
should, yes.
Yes, but again, sooner or later, we're gonna have a credit score, and if you weren't able to build your credit score, you'll be having a problem getting loans from the bank.
Yes.
Baka yung mga millennials na nakakapanood, really? I can get loan?
No, yeah,
Baka
yeah, well-
mamaya biglang mag-apply sila. Okay, now how do we spend those? If
Okay.
we have those opportunity, how do we spend those in a smart and practical way?
That's again a brilliant question. You know why? Because when it comes to loans, I would highly ask you guys, or all those millennials, to simply focus on the business loans, not personal loans. Why? Because if you would like to, how can you pay all those loans if you're not creating
Yes.
money? And the only way how you can create money is to get business.
Okay, so now the opportunities on
Yes.
how
Yes,
to create
let's
it.
say you're just a recent graduate. What
Okay.
opportunities do I have? How do I build credibility if I don't even have any money to start with?
Okay. First, you go ahead and have a employee. Well, you need to be an employee first.
Okay.
You need to at least know the ladders of success, and then once you adapt, at least give yourself at least 2, 3 years, 4 years to simply adapt the way how the corporate really works. Then you understand. Okay, this is how I can swim from this particular area, and from that moment you build credibility. You go and not be late all the time. All right, so
Yes.
you work.
That's very important.
You work. You should work very hard for it. So at the end of the day, you'll be recognized. When other people recognizes you, that means it's a confirmation that what you're doing right now make sense.
Yes.
And once we've accomplished those, we've built our credibility, what are the options again?
Okay.
How do we invest?
If
Where?
you already if you have an excess funds already, I would recommend you to know and understand exactly who you are as an investor. Are you a conservative investor? A conservative one is they don't take risk too much. They don't want to have a what do you call this one? It's like the capital appreciation. They don't focus on that. They just want to preserve the capital that they
Yes.
put. Okay, the moderate investors we're in, they're not that too risky, but
Okay.
they're not that too conservative. So they're somehow in between. All right, so they would like to at least lose some funds, but they don't want to lose 50 or 60% of the capital.
Yes.
But the aggressive one, they're more of a long-term
Yeah.
investors, wherein they can put their money in there, they can add up more, and then wait for the next 20 to 30 years before they get that funds again.
Yes.
So those are aggressive investors. I would highly encourage for everyone, especially millennials, you got so much time to simply put money. That's the main reason why the best time to
Save.
plant is today. So that sooner or later, after 30 years, you're sitting on a shade.
And also someone has to teach us to be patient.
Yes, that's
Like,
correct.
really have to wait na parang mamaya ang tagal naman makaipon ng ganitong capital to start this business.
Yes.
But not really, so we have to wait.
Yes,
We
that's
have
correct.
to just save. Okay, before we go to our next question, let us greet our viewers from Facebook, of course. And if you have questions for David Angway, because again, he's a registered financial planner and can help you definitely with your finances or financial management or money management concerns, just comment in below. Okay. Comment in below your questions. Now I'm going to read greetings from viewers from Hong Kong, Eleanor Viloria, Gina de la Cruz, Shirley Sabado, Anita Sarmiento. Okay, viewers from Hong Kong, Canada, Japan, and Sweden.
Hello, greetings to all of you, and thank you
Yes.
for watching with us this morning.
Yes, okay, so we're waiting for your questions. Okay, how about this? Okay, from JC Rafael, what do you think of angel investments and what are the risks of being an angel investor?
You know what? There's
Okay.
this so-called technopreneurs right now.
Okay.
That we're having in the Philippines. There's a booming numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, being an angel investor, there's another counterpart of it. There's a venture capitalist. So, being an
Okay.
angel investor, you put your money directly to a budding entrepreneur. Let's say, for
Oh, okay.
example,
So I have the idea.
yes, you have
and
the
you
idea.
have the money.
Yes. So let's go ahead and collaborate.
So you are the angel investor.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But I need to look at your business plan first.
Oh, okay.
As an angel investor, I need to take risks. But
Okay.
again, so I don't see exactly whether you're bankable or not yet. So I need to screen, filter.
The business plan or the person? Or
Well,
both?
to be honest, yes, it's both. Okay, I need to qualify you whether it's gonna work because I need to understand whether, let's say for example, you would like to build the next Google.
Yes.
Is it really feasible for you? How about your team?
Okay.
Who are working? Who are you working with? But if I don't see exactly that this one's gonna fly, then definitely I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass. But being an angel investor, it's a really good avenue for you to make an impact, especially in our society. And second, it's a really good thing as well for you to cash in.
Okay, so that is the advantage.
Yes,
the
that's
pros.
correct.
Okay. But earlier you mentioned to specifically to JC Rafael, the risk of being an angel investor is that, of course, you have to check the feasibility of the business plan.
Yes, that's correct.
And you have to check the credibility of the person.
That's true.
Okay. Right. Okay, so going back to the financial...
Let's say going back to the next stage of your life.
Sure.
So we've talked about as a graduating student. So to gain that credibility, you need to secure, first you need to save up some money.
Yes.
Let's say now you're already a working professional. You want to start the next phase of your life.
Okay.
Maybe you want to prepare to buy your first car, you buy your first house, but you need some things to gain that extra income
Yeah.
to get
Okay.
that. How can they
Funds.
prepare for those types
How?
of big purchases?
You know what, that big car or big house, that's a really good priorities. But again, you need to understand your needs. Now, if ever, let's say for example, your profile, you just really need the car for your convenience. And then you're an employee as well.
Yes.
As much as possible, when you buy a car, you need to understand whether it's a first hand or second hand, because there's a really big difference on it. Now, for you to earn extra income, you at least go ahead and I would
Besides
suggest
employment.
I would suggest for you to simply use probably the car that you bought. Let's say for example, you took a loan, you bought the car, you probably register it in Uber.
Oh,
Or
yes.
probably
in a
yeah.
Grab. That's a good
That's
idea.
very
Yeah.
popular now with millennials.
Yes, that's correct.
Because
That's
it's
correct.
convenience at the same time you earn profit from
That's true.
Yes.
So after being an employee, you become an entrepreneur somehow by simply driving your own car and become an Uber driver.
it.
And
So
all.
those are the opportunities. There's actually a
Exactly.
lot.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true.
There's
That's
a
true.
lot.
Or probably you can go ahead and let someone hire for your car, but make sure that there's always a risk on that
Yes,
area.
of course.
You might experience carjacking and all. but
You have to consider those
yes,
risks as
yes,
well.
exactly. So you look at the opportunities and then the pros and cons of it. If you think that the cost benefit, the benefit will outweigh the cost, and definitely I would rather you go with that strategy.
Okay.
So
That's one example. That's
Yes,
one
that's
example.
correct.
How about stocks?
stocks.
Yeah,
Okay.
the minimum that we can invest into it.
You know what?
Out of from our allowances or savings.
Our market right now is booming. I think the Philippine Stocks Exchange Index right now is currently at 7,500.
That's good news.
But that's really good news. But again, if it's not good news if you're not in the market.
Yes.
Right.
So you have to be in the
Okay,
market.
In the
right,
market
to
now,
be
how
honest.
can you get into
Yes.
the market? So there's a lot of online stock brokers right now. You don't need to call them, but you just go ahead and create an account. What you need to do is like to go into the online
So
to
this
the
is not
website.
rocket science.
Yes, that's correct. This one's very user friendly. They made sure that you know exactly what you're trying to do, and then there's an explanation as well on that. So if you're not really familiar with the terms, you can go ahead and Google it as well. I'm pretty sure that the millennials are very
And
handy.
anyone could get into stock investments.
Yes, but
yeah.
again, the question that you have here is how much is the minimum amount?
Yes.
You can start as low as 5,000 pesos.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Okay.
Manageable.
Yes.
5,000 pesos if you're an employee, and then you're just like maybe you got an excess, and then 5,000 pesos is not really bad. Now this is what's gonna happen after 5,000 pesos. You register your account. You can add up at least another 1,000 again the next time, as much as you want. 1,000 minimum. And at least 100,000, 200,000 depends upon your.
What's the
your-
frequency? When do you add up? When do you increase your capital?
Well, if
Is
you
it monthly basis?
if you really have an excess funds,
Yes.
then I would recommend you to have it regular. But again, I would suggest to do it in an auto debit form. Why? Because if you're a regular
Auto
employee,
debit form.
regular employee, you get to have your money by
15th,
mid
30th.
15 and 30th.
Yes.
Now, if you put if there's an auto debit form with your bank, definitely it can go directly to your stocks. So at least 5,000 pesos directly to your stocks every cut off or something like that.
So you won't have to forget. It's already
Yeah.
automated.
Exactly.
And next thing you
It's
know, you have
automatically.
thousands.
Thousands and then a million
Yes.
after a couple of
And a
years.
million.
Yes,
And
but we don't guarantee that.
But there's always. But again, what you can guarantee on this area is if you do the hard work, if you do your homework, definitely you get
Okay.
to be a millionaire.
All right. So to wrap up from the
Let's
first
see.
topic that we.
Yeah, let's go to see
Earlier.
if we have any questions from our viewers.
Okay, before we wrap up, questions from our viewers. Is there any? Okay, thank you for your info from Joy Agravante. You're welcome. And I hope this is really fruitful and productive for everyone. Good morning po from Binyan City, from Miss Fe Kilaton, Vic Holaska. Informative. Yay, it's informative. That's
Yeah.
our objective.
Yeah.
Delia Moreno watching from Hong Kong, and from Carla Santos. Okay, I hope we'll still be able to accommodate this question. What will be your advice for the millennials having many credit card debts? How we can save money with multiple credit cards and debts? Okay, that's a very practical.
Yeah.
And it's happening. It's happening. For millennials, as mentioned earlier, kasi David, spending power, malaki. So, pagpunta namin sa mall, swipe lang ng swipe. Pagpunta namin online shopping, Instagram, Facebook, ang daming stuff that we could get like parang by just clicking tas mamaya i-deliver na. Okay, nababaon sa utang.
Yes.
Credit cards. Now, how do we invest given ang dami pang credit card
Okay.
debts?
I don't want you to simply invest as long as you do have so much debt with your credit
So
card.
what do we do first?
First, okay, ang utang binabayaran, hindi tinatakbuhan.
Okay.
That's exactly
Bayaran
the-
mo na bago
Yes.
mas
Yes.
invest.
Number one tip, pay your debt.
Yes,
Pay
that's
your
right.
debt
That's right.
Don't run
first.
away from it.
Because sooner or later, somebody can go ahead and pick up all those information. Like what I mentioned to you, there will be a credit score
And
someday.
it already affects the one mentioned earlier about credibility.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. And it affects your integrity as well. So when you do it right. Now, let's go back to your question. How do you start investing? First of all, if you really want to change your finances, you cut all your credit cards and pay them off.
Okay, so cut them.
All of them.
So you can start
Stop
your
using credit
business.
cards.
Exactly.
Stop using them, but you can start your business or your investment now.
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. Because it's like this. Alam mo yung drum. You gotta really, ang dami mong water on that. The problem here is, ang laki ng butas mo.
Yes.
That's exactly the credit card. And
Okay.
that's something that's
Hindi
gonna-
mapupuno.
Hindi mapupuno.
Yes.
And it's really bad side for you
Yeah.
because your integrity will be affected, credibility, you're not trustworthy as well. So we're talking about you. Remember this, you can build your name for the next 20 years and then you can taint it
A
for the
closed
next
credit card or-
five seconds and all by
Yes.
not paying it.
You're not
So
paying.
guys, I would encourage you, pay all of your debt.
Or stop using your credit cards.
Yes,
Yes.
cut it. You do have a plastic surgery,
Yeah.
you do it. You cut
Yes.
it.
Yes, okay.
So that's the guaranteed solution to
Guaranteed
that problem.
solution.
Yes,
Do
yes.
not, or do we need to? Or is there a need then talaga to avail of a credit card?
Well, it really depends upon you as an individual. I would encourage you to have a credit card if, let's say, for example, you keep on going to you use it for the piece of fare and all,
Yeah.
something
Yes.
like that. So for the
Yes,
convenience
travels.
of travel. But the
Yes.
problem here is this: if you keep on traveling and you're not paying all those debts, that's gonna be a really big problem for you. So that's a reason why I would encourage you to have an allocation budget.
Okay.
50%, live within that 50%.
Okay.
Okay, that's for you. And then 30% savings.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. 30% investment. And then the last 20% is for the savings. So live within the 50% so that
Okay.
you'll end up having so much.
So
Alright.
for that lesson, okay, you can avail
Yes.
credit card because there are a lot of importance and
Yes.
uses to it, like you book your flight, you
Yes,
use
that's
that,
correct.
or for emergencies, but just regulate.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
that's the
Yes.
point. Just regulate. But if you already have existing credit card debts, again, the lesson from David is to settle them first, or at least stop using them now.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, like right now, you get Caesar. And
Yes.
start your
So
credit
to
card
summarize
now.
everything that we've learned today, first we
Okay.
have to build credibility.
Yes.
We need to increase our financial IQ.
Yes,
You
that's
can't
correct.
just start using your money, investing it without not knowing what it is.
Exactly, that's right.
And then for those with credit card debt, first thing to do is stop using your credit cards.
That's
And
right.
for those examples of opportunities that were given earlier, if you've already built your credibility and increased your financial IQ, then you have Uber for you
Yes.
to, like, at least yung car mo, you have your own car for convenience at the same time it's earning, and also stocks.
That's true.
And
that's
there's
true.
a lot more, of
That's-
course,
that's
but you're
very
gonna
Yes.
but you're gonna dig into more details and more specifics next time when we have you again here.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
If anyone
Yes.
would ever like to avail of your services, how could they get
Okay.
in contact
You,
with
yeah.
you?
Guys, thank you so much again for inviting me on this on your show, on your pilot episode. Congratulations,
Yes,
guys!
thank you.
And second, if you would like to get to know me personally, and at the same time, you would like to avail my services, you can add me up at through my Facebook. That's David Isaiah Angway, or go into my my Facebook page. That's Win Long Term Financial Consultancy. Just type in Win Long Term. or you can read my blogs. I own a
Oh,
blog,
okay.
right, a blog site right now. It's winlongterm.com. I talk about
Winlongterm.com.
personal finance, everything about it, and the latest news, the trends, and at the same time, I team up with a lot of contributors in the industry.
Nice. All right. Thank you again, David.
Thank you.
Okay, it's time to wrap up.
Yes. So we hope that you learned something from today's
Yes.
very first episode and that you've took down some notes to help in your financial management.
Yes, as the saying goes, prevention is better than cure and better safe than sorry. So as early as now, Millennials, Generation X, invest on and for your future.
So mornings filled with meaningful business talks.
Giving you handy pieces of advice to win your career.
I am Randy Bernardino.
And I am Mayan Manzano, and this is
Daily Insight.